the long range goal of brainwashing is to completely eradicate free will and make people predictable. So it's really hard to control somebody who has free will. So, which I personally believe is God-given and something which is inherent in all people. And if you've ever kind of hang around any little toddlers, you'll know that they 100% own their free will, right? So it's something that we have ingrained into us. So even as adults, we can choose to do whatever we want. So if I want to stab somebody in the eye with a pen, I absolutely could. So I'm not going to, because I have my own ethical and moral code, but I have the free will to do so. So the problem with free will is it gives people the freedom to choose, and being able to choose to not comply is the worst nightmare of any totalitarian dictatorship. So in order to have complete control of a populace, people's free will must be removed and their patterns of behaviour must become predictable. So for example, if I walked up to somebody and jabbed them in the eye with a pen, right, they might fight back, they might run away, they may just stand there frozen, and they could do like a number of other things, right? So that person's reaction is completely unpredictable. We have a good idea of potential reactions, but we can't guarantee they're going to do one thing or the other. However, if I walk up to somebody who's been brainwashed into believing that being jabbed in the eye with a pen is a sign of respect and they must bow in thanks if it ever happens to them, then this is going to be their reaction. No ifs, no buts, no wavering. They will literally then do that thing. And you might be like, come on, Kate, that's just bonkers. That's not going to happen. That's really extreme. You're nuts, right? But did you know during the Colour Revolution of China, which kind of happened not long after World War II, children went home from school and inside school they beat their own parents to death for being against the Red Army. They beat their teachers to death, and these were like young children. I'm talking like 6, 7, 8 and 9 young children. Similar sort of thing happened in Nazi Germany. Children told SS guards on their own parents, and their parents were subsequently dragged away and either thrown into work camps or executed. So this didn't just happen to Jewish people. It's not just like the kids kind of told on Jewish families. They told on their own parents, right? So Germans were also murdered in this way. So the UK and the USA governments tried the exact same tactic. So once they've kind of got you hungry or around the same time they've got you hungry, they're going to make you exhausted, right? So your body's not repairing, and now you're going to start super breaking it down. So when somebody's tired, their capacity to access higher order cognitive functions, such as like planning and reasoning and all kind of like logic-based tasks, the things that we need to move towards desire-based goals, the things that we need to feel good, the things that we need to function, all of those things just stop working. We become interrupted. This is why maybe when you're really stressed out, you put the kettle in the fridge, right? We do weird shit like that. So because your brain's slowly being unable to function. And when somebody lacks sleep for an extended period, we can become delusional, we have hallucinations, and it just, it might be auditory, it might be visual, but the brain just stops working and we stop working. And when you look at all the government funded jobs, right, they are the most dependent on useless bureaucracy. They spend 90% of their time doing bullshit paperwork, keeping them distracted and always having to play catch up with what they need to do in their own time. So this is purposeful, right? So they become the easiest targets for brainwashing, and then what's worse, they then become the indoctrinators to others, right? So we see this happening in our schools, in our hospitals, police services, military and others. They're literally too tired to think straight. So I have personal knowledge of this. My dad was in the RAF, my mum the NHS, my big sister in secondary school teacher, and my little sister is an academic, right? Regardless of their intelligence, they parroted the same old propaganda being pushed when they were in the thick of it, right? So my mum's now retired, my dad's now retired, and they have definitely started to see things very differently. There's the arrow. Shit happens. So we're going to revive our locus of control. So this is something that's barely ever spoken about outside of psychology, and then usually only kind of when you're helping a kid with anger issues or maybe ADHD, right? And this is really important. So there's an internal locus of control and an external locus of control. So an internal locus of control, so that's when you listen to yourself above all others, and external is when other people's opinions and beliefs outweigh our own. So when we're young, it's naturally external, and then as we start to build our confidence in ourselves, it becomes internal. So what brainwashing does is it blocks this process. I mean, it kind of sometimes reverses it, but most of the time it just blocks the process, right? More effective brainwashing will seek to block it rather than reverse it. And so it's blocked because of the way that the social structure is designed. So kids are in school until they're 18. There's a huge push on to go to university. It's got nothing to do with increasing the academic base of the UK or America or wherever else they kind of did this. It has everything to do with maintaining control of somebody's capabilities to make decisions for themselves during the critical identity and confidence development period in childhood, which is puberty. Right? So in order for them to hold on to, so pre-puberty, children have an external locus of control. It's why like their parents are like everything. And when they're at school, because they're in school such a long time, their teachers are everything, right? Because they are who they look to. And then it's our friends. It kind of goes from the teacher and the parent to your peer group. And then as you get older, you start to have confidence in yourselves, right? So, and this is why influencers are so dangerous, right? For teenagers specifically, because their peer group are the ultimate deciders on everything in their lives, right? And so what we do, well, I say we again, what they do, not me, what they do is they will force the external locus of control to be predominant for as long as possible, right? And it gives them an opportunity to brainwash for longer, right? So if you now know that we naturally have an external locus of control right from birth, right up into kind of puberty, that's a long time you can put shit in somebody's mind. And that's also why they target the education system. And this is why our kids are fucking nuts